Welcome to Success from Scratch, your place for innovation, creativity, and the blueprint of success from peak performers just like you. Welcome to Success from Scratch, episode number 30, and my special guest, Doc Compton, the consumer credit expert. Doc, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, glad you're here. So tell us just a little bit about you and your business.
Well, I suppose I should start by saying I've been in Texas, specifically Dallas-Fort Worth, for probably 40 years. I've lived all over Texas, but mostly Dallas-Fort Worth area.
So you got here as fast as you could?
As fast as I could. I was born in Huntington, West Virginia. I don't usually tell a lot of people that, right. But yeah, it's true.
Coal country.
Yeah, very much so. The consumer advocacy piece, I've done a lot of things career-wise, but probably for the last 25 years, I've focused on consumer finance, consumer credit, and most recently, consumer advocacy. That's a big part of what I'm after now. Right. Started a credit repair company in 2004, ran that until 2013 when it was absorbed by a law firm to go after credit collection agencies, debt collectors, the credit bureaus, and so on.
Bad behavior, bad consumer behavior.
The people that were not playing by the rules. I would very aggressively pursue them on behalf of consumers. Right. Then in 2016, I kind of got out of the actual credit repair part of it and focused more on the consumer advocacy, the writing, and some of those things.
Yeah. So consumer advocacy is something you're passionate about.
That is my passion,
right.
Unquestionably, at this point.
So the book, Credit Ready in 5 Simple Steps, is really great for consumers, it's great for agents, it's great for anybody who's looking to make any type of major purchase.
Exactly. Major finance purchase, obviously.
Right.
Because the credit is going to dictate how much any major purchase is going to cost when you finance it. It's significantly less expensive to buy a home at 5% interest rate than it is to buy it at a 6% interest rate.
And
so
that rate is going to be in correlation to your credit score.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the things on your book that I noticed it has capitalizes the consumer credit expert. And with our agents, we like them to be the hyper-local expert. Tell us a little bit about how you became the consumer credit expert.
Well, I started being introduced that way. I do a lot of speaking at events for realtors, for lenders, for consumers, whatever, investors. And people started introducing me that way and saying, this is Doc Compton. He is the consumer credit expert and blah, 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 blah. And I was, I should run with that a little bit. Right. And, fast forward, it started happening in about 2008. Fast forward nearly a decade, and it's gotten to the point now that you can ask Siri or OK Google, who is the consumer credit expert, and I'm what comes up.
And off you
so,
go.
Yeah.
Well, that's great for our agents and teams to hear because we want them to be the hyper-local expert in their particular neighborhood.
There's a tremendous power in being the, whatever you are, be the expert.
Sounds like that could be a future project for you.
It is already a project in the works.
Oh, so we'll have you back on when that comes out. So that'll be
Absolutely.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about why credit repair is needed and why it's important for our audience, which is primarily real estate agents and team leaders.
Well, the big thing is people can always be better.
Right.
If you have a 720, you can still be a 740. If you have a 740, you can be a 760. And, there is that smattering of people that are above 800. But for the most part, everybody could improve a little bit. And with the economy, still recovering a little bit, and there are some things ahead of us, I think, in the real estate market, it's going to be all the more important that people have the best possible credit rating so that they can take advantage of what remains with respect to rates and the low interest rates and so on that we're seeing right now.
Because really, the lower your credit score, you do in a sense get penalized with higher rates, higher costs.
Yeah, penalized is an understatement, to say the least. And
right.
I don't want to bore anybody with the math, but it's substantially more expensive to purchase a $250,000 home at 6% interest than it is at 5% interest. You're talking about $100,000, $120,000 difference over the life of a 30-year note, traditional mortgage. So it can make a huge difference, and not just with homes, but with all the other stuff too, cars and credit cards and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So it ripples throughout their entire financial
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how can our audience, how can our team leaders and solo real estate agents take advantage and leverage your knowledge and service to really better serve the consumer, which is really what we're all in here to do, is to better serve the consumer.
Yeah, probably the biggest thing is just the education. First and foremost, all the people associated with the real estate industry, specifically mortgage, and the realtors themselves, they need to familiarize themselves with the things on the consumer credit report that actually impact their scores. The second thing is actually taking some sort of action and doing something about it. And then finally, knowing how to maintain it. And honestly, the book, that was a major reason for the book. I found that a lot of so-called experts actually didn't even know a lot of the simple techniques, tools, tips that were in that book, and giving it to them really empowered them and educated them in such a fashion that they would be better at serving their clientele. And then obviously for the consumers, it literally takes them from, I'm thinking about making a major purchase, what things do I need to do in order to be ready?
To get prepared. So they can get this on Amazon, I'm assuming? Or?
No, actually, it's all self-published. I do it all myself, and I co-brand it with realtors as well. So we actually make it something of a calling card. We'll put their headshot and their contact information right there on the cover as well.
And so where do they go to, if they want to get this, where do they go?
Easiest way in the world is to just go to my website, .compton.com, and go to the services page. There's links to all the things that I do in there.
Cool. And then right before the show, I just did a Siri search where said, Siri, who is the consumer credit expert? And all this information came up right on Siri. So if you're an Apple user like I am, you can just ask Siri and she'll get you to Doc.
It works on OK Google too, on Android.
Awesome. Good. So tell us a little bit about the person. Obviously, you're very successful. You've started an entrepreneurial business. You're a speaker, author. Give the audience a little bit about your routines for success, or some of your tips for success that apply really no matter what you're doing.
I think one of the major things is, as I said before, you've got to know. You got to educate yourself. And there's a number of ways to do that. Surround yourself with the right people, I think, is key, because you're going to learn from the people you surround yourself with, assuming you have the right people. People that lift you up and build you, but people that have the experience that you don't. I'm a big proponent of the mastermind principle. I don't need to be an expert at real estate. I know experts at real estate. I don't need to know how to fix my transmission, but I need to know a guy that does. And I think that's exactly. I think that's a big part of it. And the second thing is, once you have the knowledge, you've got to act on that. You've got to put it to use. And if you actually put the things that you know to use, you're going to be infinitely more successful than all the people who read all the books but don't ever actually do anything. I think that's huge.
So creating yourself with a mastermind group of some type. One of my coaches used to tell me, Mark, you're only as good as the 5. You're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Choose wisely.
Choose wisely, and then taking action.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Those are the biggest things, and sustained action. Anybody can be a flash in the pan. Anybody can do something for 3 months. But can you do it day to day, week after week, month after month, year after year?
Sustain it over time.
That's how you build a brand.
Yeah. Well, you've built a great brand, and obviously Siri recognizes that, and others. So appreciate you being on the show today. Any last words of wisdom for the audience before we wrap up?
You know what? I think we kind of did in that last bit there. Surround yourself with the right people. It's critical that you surround yourself with people who are going to provide value to your life. And you want to provide value to those people in return.
And continue to take action.
Indeed.
So with that, we'll be taking action on the next episode of Success from Scratch, where we'll see you.